Hey guys, welcome to the first ever tutorial video by Art Minds.
I don't know about you guys, but we like to say art is freedom.
I'm Twyla.
I'm Joelle, and you'll be creating with Art Minds.
Right now, most of us are still at home in quarantine.
And we all know that this isn't the brightest of times.
But we hope you're staying safe and happy.
Anyways, go ahead and follow all of our social media linked in the description box down below.
Today we will be introducing and recalling basic art tools,
as well as the concept of color.
This video will be part of a series that we are in the process of making and creating.
So please subscribe and hit the bell notification if you want to be notified whenever we post a new video.
If you have any questions by the end of this video, go ahead and ask them in the comment section below and hopefully we can answer them for you.
Let's get started.
So first up, I'll be introducing a few tools and mediums that are used when creating artworks. This ranges from normal everyday art tools to more advanced art tools to even art tools you can find at home. I won't give you a full description of each art tool or else this video will be an hour long. But obviously in the upcoming videos, we will introduce a few art tools at a time depending on the type of tutorial. If I have missed out on any art tools, please comment down below which and what they are and what they are used for. Also, in this video, I will be showing you a lot of art tools, but that doesn't mean you need every single one of them to be an artist. This part of the video just briefs you on certain art tools for art styles, so depending on what style you prefer, you can go ahead and purchase the tools necessary to execute that style. Anyways, here's the first set of tools. First up, we have tools dedicated for shading and sketching, a mechanical pencil, which a lot of artists use and prefer. This is just to do the initial sketching, maybe some sketching for fun. They don't necessarily need to use proper artist pencils like these. These are sketching pencils. They are used to shade. This specific set ranges from 3H to 9B. It has a lot of pencils. Obviously, I've used a lot of them, and they are very handy for those who love shading realistically or just shading in general, because 9B gives you dark shadows for black, dark sort of sketches, and 3H helps you just with a light sketch, maybe to do light shading in highlighted areas. Then we have some charcoal pencils. These are black charcoal pencils. You can also get normal charcoal. We also have white charcoal pencils for highlight. Then we have some blending stumps and tortillons. You would see a lot of artists use these. These are blending stumps. Have two pointed ends. This is a mini blending stump. I've used this a lot, as you can tell, and I'll give you a few hints on these in later videos. These are tortillons and they only have one end. I've used this a lot and I think it's almost dead. Other tools you can use for blending, like tortillons, if you don't want to purchase these are kind of expensive, are some brushes, normal brushes. They can literally blend beautifully, but they can't blend huge spaces unless you want to use a huge brush. Earbuds are very, very handy when blending if you don't want to use brushes or ruin your brushes or anything. But let me get one more tool for you. Tissue paper. Tissue paper can blend huge areas and it's so good. It can literally blend better than a blending stump. And it can spread the graphite everywhere, making it a smooth appearance if you use the correct technique. And I'll show you this in later upcoming videos. So here we have color pencils, erasers, and a sharpener. Personally, I love using color pencils, and one of my favorite styles to do is color pencils. This is the set I have. It's 50 color pencils, one at the top, one at the bottom. You don't necessarily need 50 color pencils. You could just have 12 and make a lot of colors from that. This I will also tell you in an upcoming video. Next we have erasers and a sharpener. This I've used a lot Faber-Castell is a really good brand. And then I haven't opened this yet, but it's a black eraser. Just a normal eraser can also be very useful. And then we have my favorite kneadable eraser. So when you open it up, I've used it a lot, so it's kind of sticky and a mess. But you can mold it into any shape you want and knead it. So if you want to cover a small area, you use a small tip. And then you just erase. It's also really good for just erasing, like sketching. If you want to shade something, you don't want the sketch to be seen on the final piece, you could just use the kneadable eraser to just lightly take off the sketch. Then we have this sharpener. It's a normal sharpener where you just put the pencil in and you just roll it and it'll sharpen to the perfect point. So next up we have pens. These are normal pens. These can just be used for doodling and mark making and whatever. We have permanent marker, highlighter. These are uniball pens. You can get them in micron, I think. And I love these pens a lot. You can get them from 0.05, which looks like that. It's very tiny. You can get it in a brush pen. And this can be used for calligraphy. And my thickest pen that I have here is 0.8. Up next we have markers, and these are fine tip pens, not necessarily markers. Staedtler, yep, pretty sure a lot of us had these as children. I had that from years ago. These are brush pens with dual tip. I have one brush side, one fine tip side. These are other paper chase brush pens, mini ones. These bend a lot more than these. These are alcohol pens. You can get them in brush, chisel, fine tip, whatever. Fine tip. Chisel nib. Yeah, these aren't very good quality. These are one of the cheaper versions of alcohol marker. But that's why the nibs look really different to the cap. In replacement of fine tip, you can get a brush nib. Then this is a paint marker. As you can see, Uni Paint. There's also Posca markers, but they're really expensive. This I just use to normally outline. We've used this a lot, so it's kind of ruined. So now we have pastels. These are just fine soft pastels, as the box says, and these are the hard type, not the oil pastels. So they look like these. An ink pad for stamping, and now some other art tools we have for painting are brushes. Obviously, we have a fan brush and a normal brush. This is more for watercolor. Sponges, a palette knife, palettes, obviously acrylic paints, watercolor paints, oil paints, and with oil paints, turpentine, varnish to finish off the painting, popsicle sticks, sequences, and cutting knife, a paper cutter that you put paper in it, slice it, paper, a canvas. We have sandpaper, newspaper, colored paper, grid or square paper, lined paper, printer paper, photography paper, thicker printer paper or poster paper, tracing paper, watercolor paper, which is slightly more grainy, drawing paper. Last but not least, a clipboard. This is A3 sized. I've used this a lot, as you can see here, but you can literally just clip your papers so they don't fly everywhere while you're trying to, I don't know, trace or draw something. That's all from me.
Now, moving on to the second part of this video, the concept of color. I will be introducing and explaining primary, secondary, and tertiary colors, as well as complementary and analogous colors, and what you could do with them. Firstly, as most of you might already know, in art, the three primary colors are yellow, red, and blue. These three colors can't be created, but they are the fundamental colors that can be used to create almost any color. With red and yellow, you can make orange. With red and blue, you can make purple, and with blue and yellow, you can make green. These are the three secondary colors: green, orange, and purple. When all three primary colors mix together, it creates the color brown. When all three secondary colors mix together, it also creates the color brown. There is another group of colors other than primary and secondary called tertiary. These colors are the outcome of both a primary and a secondary color mixing together. For example, red, a primary color, and orange, a secondary color, mixes together to create red-orange, a tertiary color. All of this can be displayed using a color wheel as shown. From a color wheel, we can not only tell whether a color is primary, secondary, or tertiary, but we can also tell what colors are complementary to each other or analogous colors. Complementary basically means opposites. It's when a color on the color wheel is matched to the color that's directly opposite to it. For example, the color green on this color wheel is opposite to the color red. Green is a secondary color and red is a primary color. They are complementary colors to each other. This is really important to understand in art, as it can be used to tweak and fix any color you create. For example, if I'm coloring a face using color pencils and I see that the nose looks too red, I can blend in a tiny bit of green to tone it down, as is the complementary color of red. Analogous colors are groups of colors that are next to each other on the color wheel, such as yellow, yellow-orange, and orange. They usually match well and create aesthetically pleasing designs. They're kind of like the opposite of complementary colors. Analogous colors can be used in art to create very aesthetic themes. And that's it for colors. I hope you learned something.
Thank you so much for watching our first ever tutorial by Art Minds. Please subscribe and like this video and stay tuned for more videos by our channel. We will be posting tutorials and some time lapses of projects that we do in the future. So hit the bell notifications if you want to get notified for when we post a new video or a new tutorial in our series.